Hi friends, welcome. In this session we are going to see what is attribute binding in Angular. Here on the screen we can see a paragraph. That paragraph is going to display some ID, name and email information of a particular customer, and you can see that information on the view. And now moreover, what I want to do here is I want to send some other information, the country of this customer also to with the paragraph to the view, but I don't want to display the country here requirement is don't want to display the country name, but I want to send with the paragraph. So for that one we can create an attribute here. We can take an attribute here, and this is not attribute provided by HTML. This is my own attribute. This is a custom attribute I am giving myself, and you can give any name. You can prefer any name here to provide some extra information to send with the paragraph. And I have taken country attribute here. I have given country attribute here, and I am giving some information in the country attribute as India. Now as we can see on the screen, we cannot see the paragraph here, but the paragraph contains country information also. Here we'll see that one. I have gone to console, and here what is the ID info. So with the help of ID I am accessing the inner text. Okay, we can see in the paragraph element we have some text here, and now I want to access the country information also, but country information is in the attribute, so we have to access the attribute here. So info I'm accessing with ID, and I'm using get attribute here, get attribute, and here we can use country and press enter. You can see the information. That means this info paragraph has contained this country information also, but it is not showing that it contains the information as an attribute. Now any other programming can access that attribute. JavaScript also can access the attribute and they can use in the programming. Now what I want to do here, I want to make this country attribute dynamic. That once I have provided some static information here, but I want to make it dynamic. To make it dynamic, and I'm taking a variable here, class. In the class level variable, the name is country and the type is string, and I'm assigning some hard coding here. Actually this we can apply some dynamic values to this one by getting from database. And now what I want to do is I want to bind this country to this attribute, so I'm using property binding syntax, using square brackets to it, and here using country variable, the country class variable here, and I am saving this. I saved this. I have binded the country variable to the country attribute, and I have used square brackets it. You can see it is saying cannot bind country since it is not a known property. Yes, now we'll go here and we can see the square brackets here. Square brackets are the syntax of property binding but not attribute binding. That means when we have binded something, that property, that attribute should contain a property in the DOM for that one, but this is our own property. This doesn't contain any property. This is our own attribute. This doesn't contain any property in the DOM for that one, so we cannot use this one in the property binding. Instead of that one, we have to add attr to confirm it as it is not a property, it is my own attribute. And we can confirm this one to the Angular, then Angular is going to bind that one. Now we can see, and we can access this one here. info dot get attribute of country, and we can see India here. This way we can use our own attributes to send some extra information, and we can make them dynamic by using attribute binding, but not property binding. If you use square brackets directly to each one, that will become attribute property binding, and that should have a corresponding property in the DOM, but our own attribute will not contain any properties in the DOM, so we have to use a attribute binding here. To make it as attribute binding, simply we have to add a prefix to it, attr and dot, then this will be treated as attribute binding, and that will take the information with it to the view. And this way we can use attribute binding for our own attributes in the Angular. And now we are going to display the attribute information in the console. Whenever I click the paragraph, so using click event here, and I want to create a function display, and I will send I'm taking a template variable here, my para or something like this, and I will provide this my para in para. This is the template variable I have taken for this paragraph, and I will create some method, display method. I have to create the display method in my component. So what I will do here, I'll take this, and this is standard HTML paragraph element, paragraph element. Okay, now what I want to do here, I want to display the attributes value in the console. So here I will take some variable called var x is equal to my para dot get attribute of country country, and I'll print that value in the console. So console.log of xcr. This way we can print the value in the console also. We can see the value in the console using get attribute function. From get attribute method we can access the attributes value, the custom attributes value. Now we'll see this here in the screen. Here we can see there is nothing in the console, and I clicked the paragraphs. Immediately you can get the value, and 3 times I clicked and 4 times I clicked, 4 times we can see the value is displayed in the console. This way we can send some extra information with any element by using our own attributes. And if you want to make the value dynamic, we have to bind them in attribute technique, not property binding here. But when we are using the standard HTML standard DOM properties or standard DOM HTML attributes, then we can use property binding technique for that one. This is all about attribute binding, and in later sections we are going to meet with some other topics. Until then, goodbye.